control, and the limitation of choice. At the opening of a match, there are infinite possibilities, but as you attain increasing control over your opponent, those possibilities collapse, one by one, until only two remain: submit or suffer. The true nature of Jiu Jitsu isn't just technical, it's the art of limiting freedom. Every grip, every frame, every movement, it all has one purpose: to take away your opponent's choices until they're left with none. The best players aren't those who move the most. They're the ones who move with purpose, removing liberty with every inch they gain. Think of Jiu Jitsu as a funnel. At the top, anything is possible. But as you impose your game, the funnel narrows, until the opponent's world collapses to a single inevitable outcome. Control is not domination. It is subtle. It is the quiet stealing of decisions, until your opponent can no longer act freely. You don't control someone by holding them still. You control them by limiting where they can go next. Control is predictive. You're shaping the future by reducing the options that exist in the present. Beginners chase submission. Experts chase control, because they understand that with enough control, the submission is just a formality. When your opponent can only move where you allow them to, they're no longer fighting, they're surviving. And survival is the first step towards surrender. You can know someone's game by what they try to take away from you. Are they after posture, base, balance? The great ones strip everything at once. The submission is not the goal. It's the final result of a sequence of limitations. Limit the hips, limit the shoulders, limit the breath, and the mind will follow. Every submission begins with control, and every control begins with the decision to make your opponent's world smaller.
Pressure and precision.
Pressure is not a feeling, it is a tactic. It is the process of overwhelming an opponent's structure and timing so that their reactions become predictable. Precision without pressure is ineffective, and pressure without precision is sloppy. Jiu Jitsu is the merger of the two. Relentless force applied with surgical focus. Too much pressure and you overextend. Too much precision without pressure and you lose momentum. The masters balance both. Pressure isn't always heavy. Sometimes it's directional. Sometimes it's the threat of action that makes the opponent collapse. The opponent who feels your pressure before you've touched them, that's control. Precision is your ability to solve problems with minimal wasted effort. Every grip, every shift of weight, every angle, done with intent. Where others scramble, you settle. Where others guess, you know. That's the result of combining pressure with clarity. There's a pressure that breaks posture, and a pressure that breaks will. Know the difference. Your training must develop both: the ability to apply constant force, and the wisdom to know when it's better to redirect it. Precision comes from repetition. Pressure comes from belief. When the two align, you become unstoppable.
Timing and opportunity. Timing is the great equalizer. Speed, strength, technique, all can be undone by a single, well-timed move. Opportunity doesn't announce itself. It flashes briefly and vanishes. The athletes who dominate aren't always the strongest. They're the ones who act when the window opens and capitalize before it closes. Timing isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's psychological. You don't just move at the right moment, you move when your opponent believes you won't. A good sense of timing turns defense into offense, turns hesitation into initiative. When the timing is right, small moves feel massive, and massive threats disappear with a shrug. Most people wait for opportunity. Great athletes create it, and masters punish hesitation. Your opponent is never perfectly balanced. They're always in some state of transition. The art is finding those transitions and being there before they notice. When you understand timing, you don't fight harder, you fight smarter, you fight earlier, and your moves feel effortless. Jiu Jitsu is not just what you do, it's when you do it.
Adaptation and strategy. Jiu-Jitsu is not a fixed system. It is a living organism. It must adapt to the opponent, the rule set, the moment. You cannot always force your plan. Sometimes you must dissolve it and flow into a new one. Strategy is not about imposing will. It is about aligning your actions with reality as it unfolds in real time. Your training partners teach you more than techniques. They teach you how the world resists you and how you can bend with it without breaking. Adaptation doesn't mean weakness. It means survival, then dominance. The best athletes aren't those who impose their style. They're the ones who mold their style to crush yours. A great strategist sees the board. A master feels it shifting under their feet and is already moving before the balance changes. You don't win every exchange, but you win the ones that matter. That's strategy. Adaptation is not abandoning your path. It is reshaping it so that it still leads to victory, even if the terrain changes. Jiu-Jitsu is not memorization. It is reaction, reflection, and recalibration in real time. If your plan fails, adapt. If your grip breaks, reposition. If your timing is off, reset. The match isn't over until it ends, and strategy is what gives you the power to turn a loss into a win, one adjustment at a time.
Mindset and mental warfare. Jiu-Jitsu begins in the mind, long before it begins on the mat. Mindset in myself. Mindset in making myself a being. The first battle is belief. Do you believe you can win, or do you fear you'll lose? That belief shapes every action you take. Mindset, it made myself. Confidence is not arrogance. It is the earned right to trust in your training and to impose your game even under pressure. Mindset, mental warfare isn't trash talk. It's the subtle pressure you apply when your opponent sees no quit in you, when they realize you're still coming, still thinking, still solving. Calm under pressure. Calm under pressure.
Simplicity and mastery. Complexity may impress, but simplicity wins. The highest level of mastery in Jiu-Jitsu is making the difficult look easy, making the chaotic feel calm. Beginners chase complexity. They believe more is better, but the greats strip away what's unnecessary until only truth remains. Simplicity isn't minimal, it's essential. It's the result of deep understanding and ruthless refinement. A simple move, applied at the right time, with perfect mechanics and unshakable belief, beats 1,000 techniques memorized without depth. Mastery is boring to watch, because the masters don't scramble, they solve. They reduce the match to patterns, then dominate those patterns. When you understand something deeply, you don't need flash. You just need timing, pressure, and the courage to execute. Don't fall in love with novelty. Fall in love with effectiveness. Jiu-Jitsu is a language, and the fluent speak with fewer words, but say more. Repetition and depth. Repetition is the path to fluency, but it is not mindless. It must be conscious, refined, and intentional. 1,000 sloppy reps builds habits. 1,000 focused reps builds excellence. Depth is the reward of repetition done right. You start to see the layers beneath the surface, the subtle shifts in timing, the micro adjustments in grip, the hidden angles that separate success from failure. The beginner sees techniques as separate. The master sees them as one evolving truth, refined through repetition. Drilling is not punishment. It is a gift you give your future self, so that in the chaos of a match, you move like you were born for it. Repetition gives you confidence. Confidence gives you freedom, and freedom allows for creativity. If you want mastery, return to the fundamentals. again and again and again. Repetition doesn't just make movements sharp. It makes your decisions clear and your reactions instant. Defense and survival. Defense is not passive. It's the art of denying your opponent what they want, while quietly setting the conditions for your own success. Most people think of defense as stalling, but true defense is active. It's a weapon in disguise. To survive is not to wait. It's to outlast the storm, to frustrate the attacker, to exhaust their options until they make a mistake and you capitalize. The longer you survive, the more desperate your opponent becomes, and desperation creates opportunity. A well-trained defense is a mirror. It reflects every flaw in the attacker's plan. Learn to love bad positions. They are the forge where confidence is built, the place where panic is replaced by poise. You must learn how to lose positions without losing your mind. Defense is what keeps you in the match, and survival gives you the chance to win it. The athlete who can't be broken eventually finds a way to win. Movement and stillness. Movement is not random. It is the rhythm of adaptation, the constant conversation between offense and defense. But movement without purpose is noise. Stillness without awareness is danger. Great athletes don't just know how to move. They know when to be still, to wait, to feel, to absorb. Stillness is not inactivity. It's information gathering. It's the calm before the storm, the moment when clarity sharpens. Movement creates opportunity. Stillness identifies it. In the scramble, the frantic lose themselves, but the composed find control. You learn to move not just to escape, but to create. And you learn to be still, not just to hide, but to understand. Train movement with direction. Train stillness with intent. And you'll find the spaces where your opponent falters, while you stay centered. Transitions and flow. Jiu Jitsu isn't just a collection of positions. It's the ability to move between them, with timing, with pressure, with intent. The space between positions is where matches are won or lost. Transitions are the test of your understanding. Do you react late or do you move first? Flow is not passive. It's strategic. It's the blending of anticipation and execution. You must learn to connect your techniques like sentences in a language. Not isolated, but fluid. One creating the next. In transition, your opponent is vulnerable. They're neither safe nor settled, and you, if prepared, can impose your will without resistance. Transitions reveal who is ahead in the match, who is leading, who is surviving, and who is dictating the terms of engagement. Great grapplers don't wait. They transition before you settle. They deny you base, posture, comfort. And in doing so, they deny you options. To improve your game, don't just study finishes. Study the transitions that made them possible. Anticipation and initiative. Anticipation is not guessing. It's pattern recognition refined through experience. You've seen this grip before, that step before. You know what comes next, and you're already moving. Initiative is the courage to act before certainty. You impose before permission. You make your opponent respond to you, not the other way around. If you can anticipate a move, you can interrupt it. If you can take initiative, you can shape the match. The athlete who moves first often moves last. Great jiu-jitsu is rarely reactive. It's proactive. It forces choices, creates dilemmas, controls the flow. If your opponent is always reacting, they're never attacking. If they're never attacking, you're winning. Train yourself to read intent, not just action. See the setup, not just the submission. Anticipation keeps you safe. Initiative gets you the win.
Grip and intention. Grip. A grip is not just a hold, it is a declaration of your plan. Every time you make contact, you communicate your intent. Is it control? Is it attack? Is it misdirection? Grip. Beginners grab without purpose. Experts grip with precision. Grip. Your grips should lead somewhere. They should shape your opponent's posture. Grip. Influence their balance, limit their movement, and guide the match. Grip. The best grips are not always strong. They are strategic. Grip. They close doors before the opponent even knows they were open. Grip. In Jiu Jitsu, control begins with contact, and intention begins with a grip. Grip. Balance and base. Without base, there is no offense, no defense, no freedom. Base is not just being hard to sweep. It's the platform from which all movement gains power. Balance is the art of remaining dangerous, even while being attacked. If your base is weak, your game collapses. But when it's solid, you can take risks, because you know you can recover. The battle for base is constant. Every grip, every frame, every off-angle pull is a test of who can stay balanced under duress. The best athletes don't just resist off-balancing. They feel it coming and redirect it. They turn defense into offense with a shift of weight and a calm mind. Decision and execution. Indecision is the enemy of Jiu Jitsu. When you hesitate, you open the door for your opponent to act. Every move you make should be a decision, not a reaction born from panic, but a deliberate choice based on awareness. Once the decision is made, commit. Full body, full belief. Hesitation turns good ideas into bad positions. Execution turns vision into victory. You don't need perfect timing. You need perfect commitment to the timing you choose. The best in the world aren't flawless. They're decisive. They act. They adjust. They dominate. Fear and freedom. Fear is the shadow in every match. Fear of failure, fear of being exposed, fear of exhaustion, fear of pain. But freedom only comes when you stop running from fear and start confronting it. To be free on the mat, you must first accept risk, embrace discomfort, and act anyway. Fear narrows your options, freedom expands them. The goal is not to feel fearless, but to move powerfully despite fear. Every time you train tired, or roll with someone better, or step onto the stage, you're facing fear and building freedom. On the other side of fear is your best jiu-jitsu. Creativity and constraint. Creativity is not chaos, it is structured freedom. Constraints, rules, grips, positions, they don't limit you, they challenge you. They ask, can you find a way despite the limits? That's where genius lives. Some of the most creative movements in jiu-jitsu were born out of disadvantage, when traditional options failed and new paths were forged. Creativity is about solving old problems with new thinking. It's curiosity under pressure. Constraint sharpens creativity. It forces clarity. It reveals what matters. Don't fear the rules. Use them to build something more refined.
The cage, the gi, the no-gi grips, they all shape your mind, and your mind shapes the art. Be playful. Be curious. Be disciplined enough to explore the edges without losing the core. Creativity is not about breaking form. It's about expanding what's possible within it.
Leadership and legacy.
In Jiu Jitsu, as in life, what you build is more important than what you win. Leadership is not authority, it's example. The best coaches don't just teach moves, they teach values, discipline, persistence, humility. Every round you roll, you're shaping someone's idea of what this art is. Are you the training partner that helps others grow, or the one they fear for the wrong reasons? Legacy is not medals. It's the people who get better because of you. It's the habits that outlive your career. A true leader lifts others, not just with praise, but with standards. They raise the room by how they train and how they carry themselves. Your jiu-jitsu is temporary. Your influence is permanent.
Fatigue and efficiency. Fatigue is the truth teller. It strips away illusion, revealing what works and what doesn't. When you're tired, you stop pretending. You move how you truly know. That's why efficiency matters more than effort. The best athletes aren't just the most aggressive. They're the ones who can serve, redirect, and make the smallest move with the biggest impact. You don't beat fatigue by pushing harder. You beat it by wasting less. Every unnecessary grip, every exaggerated step, every delay costs energy. Efficiency isn't about being lazy. It's about being precise. So when it's time to explode, you have something left. Drill when you're tired. That's where real efficiency is born.
Patience and timing. And patience is the quiet twin of timing. It's the willingness to wait without freezing, to observe, feel, and hold your ground until the moment is right. And people mistake patience for passivity, but it's a weapon. It breaks opponents who rush. And a patient athlete isn't slow, they're poised. And they don't bite on feints, and they don't overreact, and they make one move, and it counts. Patience turns frustration into advantage. It baits aggression, and then punishes it. If you can stay patient under pressure, you can find the window. And if you find the window, you don't need a second chance.
The hardest thing in jiu-jitsu is staying in the game. Injuries, ego, burnout, they end more careers than defeat ever could. Recovery is not weakness, it is wisdom. You don't get better by training broken. You get better by training consistently. Longevity is built through discipline. The discipline to sleep, to eat, to rest, to taper when needed. Your toughest opponent isn't the other guy, it's time. Train smart and you buy yourself more years on the mat. More learning, more growth, more legacy. Jiu-jitsu is a lifelong art. If you want to master it, you have to last. Risk and reward. Jiu-jitsu is not a game of safety. It is a game of calculated risk. You can't win without risking position, control, or exposure. But the key is knowing which risks are worth taking, and when to take them. Reckless aggression is not bravery. It's ignorance in motion. The best grapplers know the cost of every move, and only gamble when the odds favor them. A well-timed risk can change a match, but a poorly timed one can end it. Train to see the difference. reflection, and growth. Every round is a mirror, and every mistake is feedback. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in analysis, in asking the hard questions. What did I miss? Why did that sweep work? Where did I hesitate? Reflection isn't about regret. It's about refinement. If you're not reviewing, you're repeating. Film your rounds. Write your thoughts. Ask your coaches. The athlete who reflects evolves. 1. Tension and relaxation. Jiu-Jitsu is not all tension, nor is it all relaxation. It's the calibrated blend of both. Too much tension, and you burn out. Too much looseness, and you miss your chance. Learn to tighten only when needed, and relax when it's time to reset. Great athletes are like coiled springs, loose under pressure, explosive when needed. This control of tension is a skill, and it separates the frantic from the fluid. Framing and space. Framing is not just defense. It's the creation of space, and space is freedom. Your frames allow you to breathe, to move, to reset. A good frame buys you time. A great frame turns defense into offense. Understand the architecture of frames, where they go, when to build, and when to collapse them. A strong frame isn't about strength. It's about structure and timing. If you master framing, you master the distance game, and distance is control. Finishing and finality. A submission is not just a technique. It is the final statement of your control, pressure, and timing. Finishing is not about strength. It's about precision, position, and patience. Don't rush the end. Earn it with layers of preparation. Break their base, take their balance, kill their escapes, then apply the finish. The best finishers aren't the flashiest. They're the most methodical. A clean submission tells the story of the whole match. It's not sudden. It's inevitable.
Clarity and simplicity. Clarity clears the noise, it sharpens your purpose, and removes hesitation. The best decisions come from a calm mind, focused on the essential, not distracted by the trivial. In Jiu-Jitsu, complexity can be a trap. When overwhelmed, simplify. Ask, what matters now? Then act. Simplicity is not the absence of options. It's the prioritization of the right ones. Mastery is doing fewer things better. Learning and teaching. To learn deeply, teach. To teach effectively, stay a student. The process of articulating your knowledge reveals what you truly understand and what you don't. Great instructors don't just give answers, they provoke questions. You don't need to be a black belt to help. You just need clarity, humility, and intent. Every interaction is a chance to share, and every shared insight makes the art stronger. Chaos and composure. But chaos is part of Jiu-Jitsu. Scrambles, surprises, unexpected pressure. But composure is what keeps you from drowning in it. It's the deep breath between storms, the centered mind amidst the spin. You can't always control what's happening, but you can control how you respond. Train to stay calm when others panic, to see patterns in the storm, and to act with poise under fire. The chaos is conflict and connection. Every match is a conflict, but every round is also a conversation.
What are they trying to impose? What are you resisting?
Jiu-Jitsu is physical,
but it's also relational.
It's the tension between two wills, two plans, two energies.
When you roll, you're not just fighting. You're learning how people think, move, react.
Connection is what makes you effective because connection creates control.
The match is awareness and adjustment. You cannot adjust what you don't notice. Awareness is your internal compass. It tells you when you're off balance, out of position, behind in the exchange. Without awareness, you're blind. With it, you can course correct in real time. The best grapplers don't wait for coaching. They coach themselves while rolling. Adjust the angle, shift the grip, feel the tension. Small awareness creates massive advantage. Distance and engagement. Distance is the first battle in any exchange. Before grips, before movement, there is space. Controlling distance means deciding when the fight starts and when it doesn't. Too close and you're in danger. Too far and you're irrelevant. The masters live in the in-between, the space where pressure is possible and defense is intact. Engagement isn't just about attacking, it's about knowing when to close space and when to create it. A well-managed distance frustrates opponents. It denies them rhythm and forces mistakes. Footwork, posture, and frames, they all contribute to this hidden layer of control. If you control the distance, you control the dialogue. If you control the dialogue, you control the match. Principles and exceptions. Principles guide action, but Jiu-Jitsu isn't rigid, it's responsive. Learn the rules deeply, then understand when to break them. Every fundamental exists for a reason. Posture, base, alignment. They create predictability and structure. But exceptions arise. Positions shift. Opponents adapt. And sometimes the moment demands a new answer. Principles give you consistency. Creativity gives you evolution. The best grapplers don't follow rules blindly. They use them as a launch pad to innovation. Study structure, but also study improvisation. The move that works once by accident could become a signature if you refine it with principle. Jiu-Jitsu grows when you combine truth with experimentation. Patience and pressure. Patience is not passivity, it's control of emotion. Pressure is not aggression, it's control of space. When you blend the two, you create inevitability. Many matches are lost by impatience, by forcing positions that weren't ready. Great athletes understand timing. They wait for the moment to ripen, and then act without hesitation. Pressure can be gentle, but constant. It doesn't have to overwhelm. It has to persist. Patience lets you conserve energy. Pressure drains your opponents. Together, they build the narrative of dominance. Traps and incentives. You don't beat your opponent by showing your best move. You beat them by showing them what they think they want and punishing the decision. Every trap in Jiu-Jitsu works because it aligns with your opponent's instincts. You make them feel safe, then strike when they're most committed. The art of deception isn't trickery, it's understanding psychology. Create the illusion of opportunity. Let them grab it, then close the door. The trap isn't the submission, it's the setup. It's not what you attack, it's how you make them attack into you. Mastering traps is mastering timing, pressure, and intent, layered into a single moment. Identity and style. Who are you on the mat? Not just what techniques you use, but how you apply them. what you emphasize, what you avoid. Your style is the fingerprint of your experience. It's the result of your influences, your training, your beliefs. Some chase submissions, others chase points. Some hunt control, others flow freely. There's no wrong style, only a wrong understanding of your own. You can't copy greatness, you must refine it into your own form. Don't imitate blindly, adapt wisely. Find the game that speaks to your instincts, your physique, your mindset, then sharpen it until it becomes undeniable. Habit and discipline. Discipline isn't willpower, it's structure. Habit is discipline repeated until it becomes identity. You don't show up to train every day because it's easy. You show up because you've built yourself into someone who does. Motivation fades, structure endures. Every habit, from warm-ups to cool-downs, becomes a thread in the fabric of your Jiu Jitsu. Make your habits serve your goal, or you'll be a slave to impulse. You can do the right move at the wrong time and fail. Anticipation is what makes timing possible. When you study patterns, you stop reacting and start predicting. The best grapplers seem one step ahead because they are. Train not just for technique, but for recognition. Learn to see cues before they become movement. With timing, even a smaller athlete becomes devastating. Reflection and revision. You improve most, not just during training, but in how you reflect afterward. Rewatch your roles. Ask, what worked? What didn't? What did I miss? Improvement is the result of awareness plus correction. The best competitors are their own harshest critics and their own clearest guides. You don't grow by doing, you grow by doing, then refining. Patrolling the edges. Your game is only as strong as its limits. If you never explore the edges, you'll never know how far you can go. Roll with worse opponents and better. Play your strengths and test your weaknesses. Growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from friction. Endurance and evolution. Endurance in Jiu Jitsu is not simply physical, it's mental and emotional. It's the willingness to continue problem solving under fatigue, pressure, and frustration. The longer you stay in the game, the more you evolve. Every round tests your limits, and every limit crossed builds your capacity. Endurance is your body adapting to stress. Evolution is your mind adapting to challenge. Push through not just to survive, but to transform. Simplicity and sophistication. The deepest truths in Jiu Jitsu are often the simplest, but executing simplicity at a high level, that's sophistication. It's not about the number of moves, it's about the clarity behind them. The elite do fewer things better. They don't overwhelm with options. They eliminate doubt. Sophistication is mastery of the basics under pressure. It's how you make the simple look advanced, because it works every time. Chaos and composure. Jiu Jitsu is chaos, scrambles, reversals, pressure, sweat, noise. But the calm athlete sees through the noise. They stay composed, centered, aware. Composure isn't denial, it's control. Of breath, of tension, of focus. The storm is happening, but it doesn't have to happen inside you. Train to be still in the storm. That's when clarity emerges. Goals and purpose. A goal gets you started. Purpose keeps you going. Set technical goals,
Positions to improve, submissions to refine, timing to develop. But remember your deeper reason, why you started, why you continue, what this journey means to you. Purpose makes the hard days bearable and the good days meaningful.
Art and efficiency. Jiu-Jitsu is art, but it's also engineering. It's movement designed to solve complex problems with elegant solutions. Efficiency is beauty. It's a sweep that requires no explosion, a pass that requires no force. The art of Jiu-Jitsu is not just self-expression, it's the ability to impose will with minimal exertion. Form meets function, when your technique becomes poetry under pressure. Suffering and revelation. There is a kind of clarity that only suffering reveals. In long rounds, under relentless pressure, when technique breaks and fatigue sets in, the truth emerges. Who you are when everything is against you, that's the foundation of who you'll become. Suffering strips away illusion, ego, excuses, and leaves only grit and understanding. You don't become a master by avoiding discomfort. You become one by walking through it, again and again, with awareness. Use suffering not as punishment, but as a portal. What you find on the other side is evolution. Using suffering, tension and relaxation. A match is not fought at one speed, nor with one muscle state. The great ones know when to tighten and when to loosen, when to explode and when to float. Tension burns energy, relaxation stores it. Too much tension and you gas out. Too much relaxation and you miss your moment. Learn to calibrate your energy to the demand. That's what separates the professional from the recreational. Jiu-Jitsu isn't won by brute force. It's won by intelligent pacing. Opportunity and constraint. Most people look for openings. Few create them. Constraint is your greatest tool. If you can control what your opponent cannot do, you will eventually determine what they must do. This creates opportunity, not through chaos, but through structure. Put someone in a box, reduce their escape routes, and when they move, they'll move where you expect. Opportunity is the reward for intelligent constraint. Presence and progress. Progress doesn't come from wishing for the future. It comes from owning the now. When you're on the mat, be there, not thinking about yesterday's mistake or tomorrow's tournament. Just the moment, the frame, the grip, the breath. Mastery isn't some distant goal. It's the repetition of presence. The more fully you show up, the faster you evolve. Conflict and creation. We often see conflict as destruction, but in Jiu-Jitsu, conflict is creation. Every grip battle, every scramble, every reversal creates possibility. You create order, not by avoiding conflict, but by structuring it. The match is your canvas, your actions, your brushstrokes. What do you choose to create in chaos? That's your art. Mindset and momentum. Before your body moves, your mind commits. Mindset is the foundation of momentum. It determines how you interpret resistance, challenge, and uncertainty. A fixed mindset says, "This is hard." A growth mindset says, "This is how I grow." Momentum begins not with success, but with persistence. You show up again and again, and eventually things shift. The key isn't to feel motivated, it's to build movement through consistent intention. Even slow progress compounds. Even bad rounds teach. Your mindset frames your experience, and your experience fuels your momentum. That's how momentum is built. Recovery and longevity. Training hard is necessary, but recovery is essential. Longevity in jiu-jitsu depends on respecting your body, not just pushing it. The best athletes don't just train more, they recover better. Sleep, nutrition, mobility, mental rest. If you want to do this for decades, prioritize the habits that keep you on the mat. Recovery isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Without it, burnout is guaranteed. With it, progress becomes sustainable, influence, and integrity. The longer you train, the more people you'll influence, directly through instruction, indirectly through example. The way you train, speak, compete, and treat others becomes part of the culture around you. You can lead without titles, simply by how you carry yourself. Integrity is consistency between what you believe and what you do. Jiu-jitsu reveals character and develops it. Let your influence uplift, not diminish. Mistakes and mastery. Mistakes aren't the opposite of mastery. They're the path to it. Every failure contains feedback. Every error is a lesson in disguise. Those who hide from mistakes delay growth. Those who confront them accelerate it. The best students aren't perfect. They're curious. They ask, why did this fail? What can I learn? Mastery isn't never failing. It's failing better each time. Transition and timing. Jiu-jitsu lives in the transitions, the moments between stability, between guard and pass, between hold and escape. These moments are brief, but decisive. The masters live in the transitions. They see the window before it opens and move through it cleanly. Timing isn't reaction, it's prediction. Train to read patterns, and your transitions will become weapons. Resistance and resilience. Every round brings resistance, physical, mental, strategic. Resilience is not the absence of failure, it's the ability to stay engaged through it. Your opponent isn't just testing your technique, they're testing your spirit. Can you adjust? Can you adapt? Can you stay calm when nothing works? Resilience is forged in those moments. It's not about winning, it's about continuing intelligently under pressure. The resilience don't retreat, they recalculate. Detail and discipline. Jiu-jitsu is built on details. The angle of a grip, the timing of a shift, the placement of a foot. Discipline is returning to those details every day, even when no one is watching. Casual practice leads to casual results. Disciplined focus leads to transformation. When details become automatic, you stop thinking and start expressing. That's when jiu-jitsu becomes art. Adaptation and awareness. No two opponents are the same, no two rounds are the same. The ability to adapt in real time requires awareness. Awareness of your breathing, your balance, your tension, and your opponent's reactions. It's not just what they're doing, but why they're doing it. The more you pay attention, the more you gain control. Adaptation isn't chaos, it's calculated flexibility. Effort and economy. Effort is essential, but it must be guided. The goal is not to work hard, but to work effectively. Every move you make should have a reason, a direction, a purpose. The greatest practitioners are not the most aggressive, they're the most efficient. Less movement, more result. That's jiu-jitsu. Fear and focus. Fear is natural. What matters is what you do with it. Fear distracts, focus brings clarity. The breath, the posture, the process, all return you to presence. Fear can paralyze, but it can also sharpen. Channel it into focus, and the same fear that once held you back will now push you forward. Jiu-jitsu teaches you to feel fear and move anyway. Foundation and flight. Before elevation, there must be stability. Foundations are not glamorous, but they are everything. Every explosive movement, every submission finish, is only possible because of invisible structure. You earn your right to fly by first mastering stillness. Great technique isn't built on flash, it's built on fundamentals. When your base is solid, the sky opens. Pressure and presence. Pressure is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, strategic. To apply true pressure, you must be fully present. No wandering thoughts, no daydreams, just total focus on your opponent's reactions. Presence magnifies pressure because it brings precision. The moment you drift, you lose control. Stay locked in, and your opponent will feel it. Flow and friction. Flow is not the absence of friction, it's mastery over it. You don't escape resistance. You work with it, move through it, shape it. Frictions show you where you're inefficient, where you're rushing, where you're holding tension. The best practitioners don't avoid friction. They melt through it. That's real flow. Intensity and intention. Anyone can go hard. Fewer know when to. Intensity without direction is wasted energy. But when paired with intention, every movement has weight. Every frame, every grip, every shift becomes meaningful. Train not just to push, but to direct. That's where intensity becomes power. Stability and change. The paradox of mastery is the balance between what you keep and what you evolve. You must be stable in principle, but fluid in method. Hold fast to your core, but allow your approach to adapt. If you resist change, you get left behind. If you abandon your roots, you lose your essence. True evolution holds both.
It's not hard to move, it's hard to move with purpose. Most drift through training, chasing novelty instead of depth. But direction gives your effort meaning. It allows you to measure progress, to refine your game, to own your development. Without direction, you spin in circles. With it, even slow steps carry you forward. Set a course, adjust when needed, keep walking. Fearlessness and foresight. Being fearless doesn't mean being reckless. It means trusting your preparation. Foresight lets you anticipate danger, not fear it. You train escapes, so you don't panic. You train control, so you're not surprised. You develop awareness, so fear doesn't control you. Fearless is not wild, it's ready. Observation and opportunity. Most people miss openings, not because they aren't there, but because they aren't seen. Jiu Jitsu teaches you to observe, not just watch, but read. You learn to see weight shifts, breath patterns, hesitation. Observation sharpens intuition, and from that comes timing. The more you observe, the more you can act at the perfect moment. Culture and commitment. You don't just train in a gym, you train in a culture. The people you roll with, the way you talk, the values you promote, all shape your journey. Protect that culture. Commit to showing up, lifting others, and holding the standard. A strong culture makes strong practitioners, and a strong practitioner strengthens the culture. Style and substance. Everyone wants a signature style, but style without substance is shallow. True style grows from deep roots. You earn your identity by first mastering the fundamentals. Let your game evolve naturally, from repetition, from challenge, from reflection. Don't chase style, build it from substance. Learning and letting go. To truly learn, you must first let go. Let go of pride. Let go of needing to win every round. Let go of the fear of looking foolish. Only then can you absorb, adjust, and grow. The ego resists change. The student embraces it. Every tap is a teacher. Every mistake is material. Growth begins with humility, movement, and meaning. Every movement carries intention, or it should. Mindless movement is noise. Mindful movement is music. Drill until motion becomes language, until your game speaks clearly, even under stress.
Train your body to communicate purpose. Through grip, through pressure, through flow. That's when your jiu-jitsu starts to speak. Stillness and strategy. Stillness is often more threatening than movement. A composed athlete forces you to guess, to question, to hesitate. Strategy lives in the pauses, in the restraint, in the moment you choose not to act. Stillness is not passivity. It is a trap, a weapon, a statement. Sometimes the quiet moment screams the loudest. Effort and execution. Effort without execution is wasted. You can want it, push for it, chase it, but if your timing is off, it slips. Execution requires more than energy. It requires clarity. Train your mind to match your muscles. Only then does effort become outcome. Principles and play. Jiu-jitsu is a serious pursuit. But don't forget to play. Play is where discovery happens, where creativity emerges, where you test limits and surprise yourself. Play doesn't mean sloppiness. It means curiosity within structure. Let your principles guide your freedom, and let freedom sharpen your principles.
Framing and freedom. The frame is your first defense and your first expression of structure. But frames aren't just barriers. They're tools to create space, to guide direction, to build offense. With strong frames, you gain the freedom to act, to transition, to strike, to submit. Without them, you collapse. Freedom in jiu-jitsu isn't chaos, it's intelligent structure. Distance and decision. Distance determines danger. Too far, you're safe but ineffective. Too close, you're vulnerable if unprepared. Control the distance and you control the terms of engagement. Every grip, every step, every shift of posture is a decision. The more deliberate your decisions, the fewer openings you give. Friction and fortitude. Friction is unavoidable. The mat, the sweat, the resistance. But what wears others down can forge you. Fortitude isn't loud, it's quiet endurance. It's staying in bad positions. It's breathing under pressure. It's not giving in to discomfort. Friction tests you, but also refines you. Anchoring and advancement. Before you advance, you must anchor. Anchoring gives you leverage. It lets you climb, escape, pressure, submit. An anchor can be a grip, a hook, a hip. When your base is solid, your attacks are stable. Never rush forward without roots. Anchor first, then advance. Sharpness and surrender. Sharpen your weapons, but know when to surrender the moment. Sometimes, control comes not from force, but from yielding. Jiu-jitsu is not always domination. Sometimes it's adaptation. The sharpest fighters know when to pull back, to reset, to breathe, to allow. Surrender is not weakness, it is strategy. Weight and wisdom. Understanding weight is more than knowing pressure. It's knowing how and when to apply it and when to let it go. Weight can pin, control, or exhaust, but too much, too soon, and you burn yourself out. Wisdom is in the timing. Apply pressure when it traps, release when it flows. Weight and wisdom together create intelligent control. Stamina and stillness. Stamina isn't just cardio, it's mental clarity under physical demand. Stillness, in the storm, is its highest form. The ability to recover inside a round, to find breath within battle. That's the stamina that sustains champions. Train your gas tank, but more, train your mind to stay still in the chaos. Framing and finishing. Many think submissions come from the end, but they're built from the start.
Frames determine structure, and structure creates opportunity. When your frames are intelligent, your finishing becomes inevitable. You don't chase the tap, you construct the conditions for it. Contact and composure. The first grip, the first exchange, sets the tone. You can be aggressive without being reckless. Composure turns contact into advantage. When others rush, you breathe. When others tighten, you loosen. Let them play the game while you play the strategy. Collapse and clarity. Every collapse of posture, of position, of mindset is a chance to find clarity. Instead of panic, pause. Instead of scramble, reset. The clearest answers often come in the most chaotic moments. Clarity under pressure is the mark of a calm mind. Foundation and fire. A passion is fire, but without foundation, it burns out quickly. Your love for the art must be matched by your discipline in training. Don't just chase the thrill, build the base. The most passionate practitioners are also the most patient. They know fire needs fuel, and fuel comes from repetition, struggle, and structure. In the hardest rounds, your structure is tested. Can you keep alignment, posture, composure, even as fatigue creeps in? Struggle reveals the gaps. Structure fills them. Keep refining how you hold, how you post, how you breathe. That's how struggle turns into structure. Initiation and impact. Don't wait to be acted upon. Initiate. Set the tempo. Set the pressure. Set the pace. Impact isn't accidental. It's created by commitment. When you decide to act, act fully. No hesitation. No halfway. Impact belongs to the one who moves first, with clarity. Frames and freedom. Frames create space, and space creates choice. The better your frames, the more freedom you generate. Freedom to recover, freedom to reverse, freedom to attack. It's not the size of your strength, but the sharpness of your structure. Well-placed frames can neutralize chaos, focus, and flow. Mastery and mystery. True mastery doesn't remove the mystery, it deepens it. The more you know, the more you realize there is to uncover. In Jiu Jitsu, you climb the mountain, only to see taller peaks ahead. Stay curious, stay humble, let the mystery drive your mastery. Simplicity and sophistication. The highest level of Jiu Jitsu looks simple, because it is, but that simplicity was forged through years of refinement. Remove the unnecessary, sharpen the essential. Simplicity is not lack, it is clarity. Sophistication arises when nothing more needs to be added, and nothing else can be removed. Teaching and transmission. To teach well, you must understand deeply. Every insight passed on strengthens your own foundation. Transmission isn't just about moves, it's about mindset. When you teach, you shape not just technique, but the culture of the art. Give with precision, share with purpose. The journey and the journal. Your jiu-jitsu journey is a living journal. Every roll, every lesson, every injury adds a page. Review it often. Revisit your setbacks. Reread your progress. The story is written through sweat. Make it one worth reading. Endings and echoes. The round ends, the match ends, but the lessons echo. What you carry out of the gym shapes how you live. Jiu-jitsu doesn't stay on the mats. It colors your thoughts, your actions, your character. Every ending is a beginning, so carry it forward. Breath and belief. In the hardest moments, all you have is your breath. Control it, and you control the chaos. Belief grows in that space between panic and peace. When you return to breath, you return to power. That's where composure is born. That's where champions reset. Questions and quiet. Your mind will ask questions. Can I win? Can I escape? The answers don't come from noise. They come from quiet. In silence, awareness sharpens. In stillness, strategy appears. The best decisions are made in calm. Let your training bring quiet to your questions. Limits and liberation. Limits are not walls. They are invitations. Every time you hit one, you discover where you must grow. Liberation comes from leaning into those edges, not avoiding them. Push into discomfort, and you'll find freedom on the other side. Growth lives at the border of your current ability. That's where Jiu-Jitsu truly begins. Loss and learning. Loss is never easy, but it's never wasted. Every defeat carries data. Every setback is feedback. Don't chase perfection. Chase adaptation. Learning lives inside loss, if you're willing to listen. That's how you become undeniable.
Legacy and living.
Your legacy isn't what you say, it's how you live. Every session, every spar, every lesson you pass down. Legacy is built in the mundane, the consistent, the committed. Live like someone is learning from your example. Make your journey meaningful, so your path leaves a trail. And when it's done, let your jiu-jitsu echo beyond the mats.
When chicken corn, so the corn can grow, mama. Hey, when chicken corn, so the corn can grow. No, no, no.